Hello and welcome to the Enlightenment Exchange. We are back to have another crazy discussion. I like this one, intuition versus wishful thinking. A lot of people, I think even seasoned people have trouble with this, to be honest. I don't, but that's me.
But you're
right?
a pro.
Well, no, well, whatever. We'll wait for the discussion. Listen, we are up to 91 subscribers. And it would be really great if we could hit 100, before the end of the year anyway.
So here's what you do. Get your kids to sign up for the show. Just borrow their accounts.
No, just really find people who might like to listen and hear what we have to say.
Okay, that's a better plan.
Yeah, I think so. So, do that. And then if you like us, share us. Not that we do a good job of sharing the show with anyone, but that's whatever.
Do as I say, not as I do.
Yeah, right. Not as I do or don't do. Anyway, so let's get started. We've got, as last week, I had a thing I had to jump off right away, when we were done. It's the same. It's the whole month of October, to be honest. Every Wednesday in October, I think, or 4 of them anyway, if there's more than 4. But this really is what you're talking about. People who are starting out, intuition versus wishful thinking. And I don't know, wishful thinking was one, intuition versus wishful thinking, but another is just intuition versus assumption.
Right. Yep.
And to be honest, I see more people who call themselves pros who fall prey to assumption.
They're putting their own ego energy into that rather than truly.
I mean, John, you've seen it happen to me. You've seen it. You've watched it with your own eyes. People make assumptions.
Indeed.
You've seen it happen.
Yep.
I mean, you've just seen it happen. You know it. So it's something I work really hard. Like, that is the whole idea of neutral state. Free from assumption, judgment, self-doubt, and fear. And
why don't we kind of explain to the users what's going on here? And I'm going to give it from a personal point of view. When you're first starting out, trying to discern what is spirit telling me, what am I supposed to be hearing? You keep thinking like, okay, I got something, but I'm just imagining it. I just imagined that. How do I even know that was a real message? That was a real intuition, or if I just made it up. And that's the thing that really bugged me when I was just starting out. How do I know?
Well, I mean, that's a really good question, because I don't think the answer is the same for everyone.
Yep. Although I do have a path. I do have a recommendation.
And the recommendation, there's lots, right? Like, there can be practice. I think one of the things people fall prey to, though, are actually understanding the difference between intuition and ESP.
That's interesting. That's kind of a subtle one, but that's really interesting.
I'm not psychic because I can't. I'm not psychic because I can't get the Zener cards. I'm here to tell you I can't get the Zener cards.
Right.
So you know what I mean?
So big disappointment for me.
So if people were hi Coventina.
Hey, Coventina's here.
If you sit back and think for a moment, you've been using your intuition your whole life. Anytime
you just don't know it. Yeah.
Anytime, right? Like anytime you turned left instead of right, anytime you said or when you've gone against your intuition. This is a really good one. If you are a person who says to themselves, I should have went with my first instinct often, then you know what your intuition is. It's your first instinct, right?
Yep.
And you will know when you start using your intuition more and more, you start saying, I wish I would have gone with my first instinct less and less. I hardly ever say it anymore.
Right.
So
you've learned the art.
But it's never from 0 to 60 all at once. Right? Your intuition
it's a
starts
muscle,
small.
right?
It's a muscle. You have to exercise it. And so, I mean, that's just, it's just hard for people to wrap their minds around, you know. And then, of course, you have the people who have all kinds of abilities that have been a parent for a very long time and they have no idea how to control them.
Hmm.
And so those people tend to be afraid, right?
Mm-hmm.
And when people are afraid, then they tend to intuit things in a way that isn't quite accurate because they're
Right. They're
filtered
putting their
through.
own ego salt on top of it.
Yeah. So I have some questions that I want to use as fodder for conversation. So I want
Sure.
to start here with each of us. How do you personally recognize when your desires might be influencing what feels like intuitive guidance? So when what you want might be influencing, you know, like really what you want is influencing what you're hearing.
So here's one right off the bat. When you really, really, really want something to go a certain way, that's when you need a reading from someone else, because your own desperate desires are going to color that. And yeah, I guess that would be the first thing that comes to mind. I think for me, whatever is the biggest thorn in your side right now, whether that's finances or a relationship or another person or a career move, whatever's the biggest thorn, that's the thing that's like weighing on your heart. That's where your ego is going to kind of insert itself most prominently, I think.
Me personally, it's more, I listen because I'm very clairaudient. So I listen to the volume. My intuition tends to be a lot quieter. I can still hear it, but it's just softer and not quite as panicked. And if it's something that I want, if it's wishful thinking for me, it's louder. It's like, ooh, let's do this. It's like more excited. Whereas my intuition is like, this is what you need to do. You know what I mean? It's really soft.
That's cool. Do you have one ear versus the other ear?
Yes, it's the right ear.
Okay. I remember the one
Not
time
that
I
not that I don't hear it all over, but it's mostly like yelling in here.
Interesting. I had the one time when I almost got in a car accident, and the message or the spirit said, "Stop, someone's going to run the red." I realized that was like behind and above the placement of the voice, if I can call it that, as opposed to like in an ear, or my thoughts kind of emanate from the center, but this was like clearly from a different position.
So that's really interesting that you say that, because I was just in a mastermind group that I'm in, talking about, we're doing inner child work, and I was talking about my wheel and how every single person I've ever put on that wheel has always had their guardian angel on their 6 behind them.
Oh, that's so
always.
Wow, that really makes me.
Yeah,
that got me right there.
So and it's interesting that it's loud and forceful, and because sometimes it's that kind of assistance can be quiet and energetic, keeping your car from tipping over, as it happened to me, or those kind of things. Or before I was as clairaudient as I am, and as I hear them all now. I used to see pictures. So sometimes I would get flashes of something that was going to happen, and I'd be like, oh, yeah, I better, hit the brakes here or whatever. So
interesting. Yep.
And now what's interesting, John, to your question, Matthew's here. I hear him here. I hear Pink over here. And then I hear the other ones here. And so
sweet.
In the center, it's my mind. And then, of course, when they think that there's something I should do, or if they have a message like they want me to pass on to Valerie or something, they are persistent, and they just keep repeating it over and over and over again until I answer, until I either say, okay, I'm going to do that, or no, I'm not. Because nobody's the boss of me. Just saying. I mean, just not.
I would never attempt to be your boss.
Yeah, that just just tell me what you need and I'll handle it. Like, I don't need the.
That's funny.
But anyway,
can I interject real quick? Just one thing I want to get in before I forget. When I was trying to hone the intuition, these these funny little tarot cards were immeasurably helpful, because the cards are going to get you your message visually, even if you can't hear it. And the more I worked with them, the more I was doing readings, the more I heard what the message was before the card came out, and the card confirmed kind of what I was getting. And now when I do a reading, I'll say, I'm getting something about, a difficulty in your relationship. And then I'll turn over like say the, whatever, the Three of Swords or something like that.
Or I'm getting that you need to see Angie, and you'll turn over the Queen of Swords.
Yeah, that's exactly it. But like that, when I'm getting a message, it comes just before the card flips over, and they confirm each other.
And so there's the next question, right? It's a matter of trust, because if you just don't ever trust that, then it either just never actually works, or it stops, or you have to trust it. You have to rely on it. I think one of the most interesting like intuition stories that I have, and I've told it before because we've had the conversation about and we all know how I feel about pendulums. Like, I think far too many people think, oh, I asked my pendulum. Like a key on a string has got consciousness. Anyway, when I studied soul realignment, the Akashic record work that I do, she, with the protocol sheet, she said use a pendulum to get yes or no. Oh, that's interesting. We'll get to that in just a second. She, yes or no to the question on the protocol with the pendulum. Well, I use a pendulum in my left hand. I write with my left hand, and I got really tired of pick up the pendulum, put it down, pick up the pen, put it down. But I remember her saying when she was teaching, sooner or later you'll stop needing the pendulum. The answers will just drop in.
Oh, cool.
And I was like, yeah, okay, sure. What do you say? And sure enough, what I did was I stopped using the mechanical pendulum and started using my body pendulum. But then, even after a time doing that, after a while, it really did just yes, no, eight lifetimes, whatever it might have been. And I remember when I first started studying that work and I did the practice clients and I was getting them, like pretty spot on. I was like, yeah, but these people, of course you're getting it spot on. And then I started doing it for people who I'd never met.
Right. That's a huge step.
Hired me off the internet. And every time I'd be like, is this going to be the one that's 100% wrong? And it never was.
No.
Never has been.
Well, I'm still surprised when people are like, that was so spot on. That was an amazing reading. I'm like, cool.
Right.
Or the ones who are like, that I have no idea what you're talking about. And I'm like, I don't know, that's just what I got. And then they come back like 6 months later. You know what? You were right. It's blah, blah, blah.
Yep. Yeah, confirmation.
Right. Yeah.
Well, and as a reader, you have to be okay with that.
Mm-hmm.
You have to be okay with them saying, I don't know. Now, if I tell you that doesn't resonate with me, I'm telling you the truth.
I got a funny story. This is from one of the tarot readers I like. She was saying she was doing a reading one time, and when she turned, every card came up inverted, and she goes like, well, that can't be right. She turned them all around and did the reading and said, it looks like things are going to be really rosy for you, and so on, so on, and so on. And it looked really wonderful. And the client said, no, it's totally wrong. Everything's falling apart. It's totally going to shit. She was like, oh, okay. Those all inverted cards? That was actually right.
See, that's assumption, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Her assumption was, everything inverted, that can't be right. But that was actually.
Isn't that something? Like, that's trust.
Mm-hmm.
That's a big thing when it comes to intuition is trust. Trusting what you're hearing, trusting what you're seeing, being able to operate without validation.
Oh, yeah.
You get validation and it's amazing.
Say that again, Angie, because that's important.
Oh God!
Being able to
repeat it.
Being able to operate. Being able to operate without validation.
Oh, being able to operate without validation. You have to be able to operate without. And look at all the people who do readings. Like those email readings or the messenger readings or whatever, they don't really get very much validation. They don't have
Right.
time for validation because they're getting $5 for 5 minutes or some ridiculous thing like that.
I can't imagine being that kind of reader. That just would drive me nuts.
Yeah. But I know people who do it and actually really enjoy it because it's, question, read, answer, cut the cord, boom, you're done, move on to the next one. So it's always something different and interesting. And
I revel in that connection too much, I think.
yeah, questioning is definitely ego getting in the way. But, so this is another thing. This is another thing that goes to this. You need to embrace your ego, not fight with it. Ego is an important, actually crucial part of being human. If you don't like being human,
why are
there
you
is an answer. You're not going to like it. But if you don't enjoy being human, there is a way.
The ego is what gives us the contrast.
Yes. And it also, the function of the ego is to keep you as a human safe. The ego is the one that says, oh, don't put your hand in that fire, right? But the problem with the ego is that it only has what it knows.
Mm-hmm.
So it likes to keep you right where you are, which is why getting out of your comfort zone is so difficult, right?
Mm-hmm.
But it is also, oh, this is good. The ego is also a pipeline for all those limiting beliefs. All those and all that ancestral karma and the limiting beliefs. I mean, they get filtered through the ego, and those are the things that keep you really from connecting and doing this work in the way that you would want to.
Yeah.
Yep.
And so part of learning intuition is knowing when to tell the ego, go sit in the corner, buddy.
Yeah, right. I know somebody who actually tells her ego to go take a vacation. And then I have another client who puts their ego in a box, in a clear box, in a glass cube, like a glass box.
Cool.
I have a bench. I put mine in timeout. Go sit over there. You've protected me long enough. Now go sit over there. Thank you. Go sit down.
You need to get it out of the way while you're in that safe container from which to do your work, right? See, that's another thing. A lot of people, they just wing it. They go on, they do their work. They don't manage their own energy, or they think I'm doing all these sessions, or I read a card every day, so my energy must be in balance. It's not. And doing work on other people, doing work for other people, that is not. Guiding a meditation, creating a meditation, that's not working on you. When I do meditations, I have to come out and do a meditation of my own.
Right. Self-care.
Right. Self-care. So, and I think that most of us are guilty of it.
I would agree with that.
Right. Most of us.
We like to give.
Right. Well, and it's really interesting because it was a subject, managing your energy was a subject in one of the groups I'm in. And I actually did not raise my hand to speak because, my face gives me away. But the
how do
truth
you really
of the
feel, Ange?
I cannot tell you how many people I have worked with, and I say, "Are you tuned to any kind of energy work?" Well, yeah, I'm a Reiki master, or yes, I'm Reiki 2 or Reiki 1 or quantum, whatever, or whatever it might be. And oh, okay, how often do you do an energy session for yourself, on yourself? Maybe once a month.
Right. Or I can do that.
Right? Like, so is that also a function of the ego that we put ourselves last? Probably. But, you have to, all those cliches, put the mask on yourself first or whatever.
Right.
So moving away from that, because I like this next question. What practices or rituals resonate with you when it comes to staying grounded and neutral in your intuitive work? So do you have something you do when you sit down to do intuitive work?
I have an energy clearing routine that I do. It's one I've learned years and years and years ago when I first started. Actually, I think it's from Donna Eden of Energy Medicine, but it's a grounding, clearing your aura, I think she calls it. But yeah,
That's a great way to start. I think
I do
half
the
the
same
time
thing.
people don't even know how to ground themselves
Mhm.
or what it is. I have and it's in it's in everything I teach. Neutral state, prayer of intention, offer
That's good too.
gratitude,
Yep.
create the container, call in the guides, teachers, and angels. You know, the invocation. Like that's all a part of what I
Yep.
do
Yep.
to set myself up for
I
the
can
work.
almost hear it because I've been in many of your sessions. I can almost hear you
Yeah.
doing kind of step by step.
And it's in everything I teach. So if you've been in any of my classes, you've learned it, and most people probably have forgotten it or don't use it. Some people, I mean, I know some people. I know one girl who uses it always, like neutral state. She calls on neutral state everywhere she goes because it's so powerful and helpful for her, and it keeps her less reactive.
Interesting.
Yeah. So, you know, if you and I'm falling, you know, I'm finding a lot of people want to discuss politics and say really stupid things. I'm sorry, they are stupid. A lot of them are stupid things. They say stupid things, and it's getting to me. There is a reason I don't watch the news and I don't discuss politics and I don't watch those kind of videos because it is bad for my attitude. You don't want to see me like that.
It's bad for your energy.
It is. It's bad. You don't want to see me like that.
Enraged.
Yeah. I mean, my favorite sentence was, I'll eat you for lunch. Some days I feel like that lately because people are just like out of their effing minds.
21 days. And we're done.
That's it, right? Well, yeah, no, January. But
okay. Milestone.
Yeah. Anyway, so let's move on. Get away from this.
Indeed.
Have you ever had a moment where you realized what you thought was intuition was actually influenced by your hopes or fears? How did that shift your perspective? It happens to me a lot. It's stupid things, though. Like I feel like I'm getting an intuitive hit on which lottery ticket to buy, and then it's a loser. Why is that? Because you can't ask your intuition. Your guides can't tell you which lottery ticket to buy.
Or they won't.
No, they can't.
Okay.
There's 25 or 30 of them in the machine. They can't. They can't. Not that they won't. They can't. So
I guess I can't. Nothing specific comes to mind other than
what about you, Melanie, while he's thinking?
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't really have anything specific, but I do seem to remember like when I was just starting out that, yeah, it seemed like my wishes would kind of flood the waters, muddy the waters of what my intuition was. And I think my like fix for it or whatever was I just kind of released my desires and released what I want and just kind of didn't hold on to them so tightly, and I didn't really care so much about what I want. Do you know what I mean? So then if I'm not caring, then it doesn't
go with the result.
Yeah, and it just doesn't, then it's not in my expectation, I guess, or it's not like in my it's not in my energy, I guess. I don't know. So now it doesn't happen anymore.
No, and I think that there are a lot of people who get information they believe is their intuition, and it's not. They still don't know the difference. And I told you that I think that there are some pros who are subject to assumption.
Yeah.
That are just getting it 100% wrong.
I was trying to find something with intuition. So have you ever used a pendulum to try and locate a lost object?
No.
Okay.
I told you what I think about a pendulum.
Okay. All right. Well, but have you used your personal body pendulum to find something lost?
Yeah.
All right. So I was doing that one time and I absolutely had to find it. It was really important that I had to find it, and it just wasn't working. And so I finally kind of gave up. And then all of a sudden, boom, it's like, I know where it is. And I was, once I gave up.
Yeah, right, because you were trying too hard.
Yeah.
So, John,
Yeah.
don't you know that the fastest way to find something you lost is to go buy a new one?
That is true.
I mean, that is the fastest way to find it. Order a new one on Amazon and it'll pop up, right?
Yeah, you'll find it as soon as you click buy.
Which buying another one is just the ultimate in giving up, right? Well, I give up. I can't find it, so I'm going to go buy another one.
Well, and that's, yeah, I mean, because you're surrendering to, you're surrendering. Now, I mean, I've used the rods, to try and do that.
Yeah, dowsing rods.
Here's the thing. This is what I believe when it comes to something lost. You need to know where that thing is in the first place to be able to find it intuitively. You need to be the one that put it wherever you put it.
That's for a thing.
Right.
What about, like, you want to talk about water dowsing or not today?
That's water. It's reacting. Dousing is reacting to the water.
Okay.
That's got nothing to do with what I'm saying. You were talking about lost items.
Yeah, lost
not water.
And I'm wondering.
I don't think if Melanie lost an item, you could go to Melanie's house with your pendulum and find it.
Ooh, that's a good test. That is a good test. I would like to actually test that hypothesis. Could I find someone else's lost thing?
Somewhere in my subconscious, I know where it is because I put it there.
Exactly.
Well, the act of me finding it isn't actually finding it. It's tapping into Melanie and finding it that way.
Maybe.
If you could do it, that would be my explanation.
Yeah.
If we did that experiment.
Though. But there's people that find lost items. There's actually professional dowsers. Again, this is in my book. That help people find lost items. But I guess it was a stolen item in the particular story that I really like. It was a stolen item. Someone took it away. It was very valuable, and the person who kind of gave, had tried everything else. Someone said, "Try a professional dowser," and she's like, "Oh yeah, right." She did, and they found it. Like, interesting.
Well, I mean, a professional dowser is a real professional, like an expert, somebody that does it all the time.
True. So they're tapping into whatever, right?
Yeah. And my bet would be that if the item was stolen, it was stolen by somebody the person knew. You know what I mean? I think there's still got to be an energetic thread there for somebody to grab onto and pick up.
Well, I'll leave. Yeah, we'll leave it at that. Energetic.
Either that, or because otherwise, a professional dowser could find my phenosite, which I believe has taken itself to another dimension. So I don't know. Right along with my azestulite and the strap to my yoga mat. I don't know where that went either.
That's funny. We got a checklist of really important things here.
I know, right? Actually, in the cap to a can of whipped cream just disappeared, like poof.
And where?
I don't believe in poof. Just gone.
Where did my battery charger go?
See.
I had one. I knew right where I put it, and it's gone.
That's well, that could be fairies because I'm doing that fairy class. So anyway, okay. Now, this is a good one. What helps you cultivate patience when waiting for intuitive messages to become clear rather than seeking immediate clarity?
Well, let's see. Anger? No. Frustration? No.
Right? I mean,
letting go.
Practice.
Here it is.
Yeah.
Letting go.
Letting go and trusting and practice. Right? I like, my favorite when people say, "How do I increase my intuition?" And I say, "How do you get to Carnegie Hall?"
Practice, practice, practice.
There you go.
Yeah.
Right? Like,
that's good.
Melanie, I'm not sure that you're known for patience. I was going to say my kids have given me lots of opportunity to practice. And yeah, just circumstances of life have just made me have to practice patience. So I don't know. Again,
Yeah.
I've just kind of surrendered expectation of anything. So what is there to be impatient about if I've let go of
Right.
any, you
So,
know?
right. So, I think we can't talk about intuition versus wishful thinking without talking about signs. 444 and 1111
Yep.
and those kind of things. And uh, I'm gonna say a couple of things that I believe firmly about signs, and then let's see where it goes. First of all, sometimes when you see 444, 333, 1111, it's energy flows where awareness goes, right? And so all of a sudden now, I mean, this is a very good example. When I bought my last car, I wanted a blue car because everything I saw was silver and I wanted it to stand out. And all of a sudden, every car I see around me is blue. So now I got a new car. It's not blue. I got a red car. Now I see no more blue cars, but everywhere I go, I'm surrounded by red cars. Energy flows where awareness goes, right? So
You're actually turning those cars red.
I know, isn't that something? Some amazing shades of red out there on cars too, by the way. But so sometimes 1111 or 444 or 333 just means you look at the clock the same time every day. Now, is that to say I don't believe that they can be messages? No. But if all you ever see is 1111 and you never get anything further from it, then you're too focused on the 1111 and not figuring out what is the actual message, right?
Mm-hmm.
So that's
here's the flip side of that, where I'm driving and I'm thinking like, I wonder what I need to know about today. And the car that passes me has love on the license plate. I'm like,
no, right. See, that's
a nice serendipitous message. I'm like,
yes. And so that's the
you.
next thing. Yep. I believe you can ask the universe to give you signs that are easy to spot and understand in the physical world. And that's exactly an example of that, right?
Yep. It's pretty clear.
That's really pretty clear. And then this is the last one. Nobody likes it when I say this. It does not matter what Google tells you 444 means if it doesn't resonate with you.
Yes, I would agree with that.
You need to figure out what those signs and what those numbers mean. She's been working on the P word. Oh, patience. P word. Yes. Good one, Coventina. What those signs mean to you. What you need to develop your own dictionary, your own language, so that when something comes up, especially in the beginning, everything I got was in metaphor in the beginning. I didn't hear them like I do now. Everything was in pictures or, license plates. Or did I tell you about how you saw that Druid license plate for every day for like 3 months?
Yeah.
And then never again. And then, hell, if I didn't meet somebody who channels the Druids.
Right. Yep. Right. That's cool.
So anyway, it's up to you. Have control. This stuff is not happening to you, right? This is happening because you are a soul in a human body having a human experience, and the universe needs a way to communicate with you that you can understand and help your physical body, your ego, to integrate with, right? So you have to figure out what that means. So, 444. If I see 444 on the clock, that means I need to get up and take a walk or whatever it might be. It doesn't have to mean whatever somebody says on Google. And that includes my beloved Radley Valentine.
Right.
I mean, his are good. They're good, right?
Yep.
Like they're good. There's nothing wrong with them.
Let me give a concrete example about that. When I was first on my journey, my kind of awakening journey, for like 5 days in a row, I would wake up and look at the clock, and it was 2:34, 3:24, 4:32, 3:42, and it was like 234, all these 234 numbers. And I kept looking up, what does 234 mean? What does 234 mean? And then I started thinking like, well, let's see, my siblings, there's 4 of us siblings. I'm the first. Maybe it means I'm supposed to be missing. Maybe, and I kept going, like thinking, like trying to think my way through this. And later on, I realized they're just trying to get your attention. Now go sit, meditate, and listen for what they're trying to tell you. Oh, it was just like a ding, ding, ding. It was a wake up call.
That's it, right?
Yeah.
An alarm, like the alarm,
Yeah,
like
it was
when
an
your
alarm.
clock goes off.
Right.
The alarm on your phone is signaling you that it's time to do something.
Yep.
It doesn't tell you what.
Right.
If somebody
The
else heard the
numbers
alarm,
were
they wouldn't
irrelevant.
know.
Right. The fact that it was
Exactly.
2, 3, 4, the numbers, the meaning wasn't attached to the numbers. It was attached to the event.
Right. And it was enough to, I think, 2, 3, I think this is interesting. I think 2, 3, 4, 4, 3, 2, 3, 4, 2 would be what would pique your curiosity.
Yeah.
More so
Yeah.
than 3, 3, 3 or 4, 4, 4. You'd be like, yeah, okay, angel number,
Right.
whatever.
Right.
So, but this
I was on this one.
Yeah, like I think that's brilliant, really.
Yeah, it was pretty cool. It's in my book, by the way.
That's how I see signs. Is it's more like the universe trying to get my attention. So if I see 333 on the clock, it's like, oh, okay, and I'll say, hey, do you need? Because sometimes I'm in the middle of making dinner, doing the dishes, doing all the things, and they might need to get my attention. And so I'll notice it and I'll be like, okay, do you need to tell me something? And they'll be like, nope, you're good. Then I'll be like, okay, I just happen to see 333 on the clock. It's fine, whatever.
Yep.
Or they'll say, yeah, something like, call so-and-so, they really need you, or they need to talk or whatever. Call them. Oh my God, how did you know? That kind of thing. So it's just kind of like, yeah, for me, it's just like a sign. I don't, oh my God, I saw 777. What does 7 mean? What is 3 number? What does 3 sevens mean?
Well, if you see 777 on a clock, you got a problem with the clock.
Well, you know what I mean. Or like on a receipt or whatever. It's more like, I feel like it's just them saying, hey, hello, pay attention, or the hummingbird comes and sits right in front of me. Okay, do you need me? No? Okay, I'm good. I just the hummingbird saying hi. It's
okay. Interesting. So, oh wow, we're already at the end, pretty much.
All right. Thanks, everyone. See you next week.
Yeah, bye. No. I don't know if we resolved anything or sorted anything out for anyone. I think that go ahead.
I got one more story real quick. So this is for newbies. When I was in a very early in the journey, and I was in it was kind of a meditation class, and the person that was leading it was saying, okay, you're going to be listening for a message. You're going to be listening for a message. You're going to be, and it was a guided meditation, kind of like the train thing that you do.
Mm-hmm.
And there was one guy who kept saying, nope, I'm not getting anything. I'm not getting anything, not getting anything. And here's what the instructor, she said, okay, if you were to get something, what would it be? And he was like, oh, and off he went. And I'm like, that was smart. That was smart. He kept blocking himself by saying, I'm not getting anything. And then she went into, imagine you're getting something. What would it be? And suddenly it opened up.
See?
Isn't that cool?
Because people get in their own way, right?
Yeah,
like that's
exactly. And she knew how to get him out of his own way. I love that.
It's and that's amazing that it worked, right? Because there are a lot of people out there giving a lot of advice. I remember in the beginning when I first started to hear more often than oh, that's nice.
That's cute. Yeah.
Hummingbird is her dad.
Says hummingbird is her dad.
Anyway, so when I first started, and I will never forget this, and I started to hear the voices instead of I heard them all at once. And I went on this mission, like, to quiet this down because it was too much. There's too many of them too close to me for them to be able to talk all at once. I spent hundreds of dollars on readings and crystals and, grids and advice and visualization and do this and do that. Finally, I said, listen, I cannot understand you when you all talk at one time. I need you to speak to me one at a time. That was all it took. And that is when I realized that we have all the power when it comes to this.
Mm-hmm. That's really
but we don't believe it. You have to believe you have the power. It's like me when I work with mediums and they say, well, these spirits show up at all hours of the night. Oh no, no. You tell them no.
Right. Light
They
the candle.
have to go if you tell them to go. Right. When the candle is burning, I love that actually.
Yeah.
Light the candle. When the candle is burning, you can come through. When the candle is out, that's it. I'm closed. That's it. You know, I think there's too many people out there with this fear consciousness, making people think that these things are happening to them. It's like when somebody tells me they're afraid of ghosts. Why? Why? What is a ghost going to do to you?
Right. Yeah, that's
I've had a ghost throw bread and slam doors. Okay, I still didn't like actually get hurt. Do you know what I mean? Like I was just like, go away. Like I'm not even messing with you.
I don't even necessarily believe that a lot of those things are actual ghosts.
I don't know what it was.
I think those are, you know, like they say a poltergeist, right? You know where you find poltergeists? In homes that are filled with teenage children. Why?
Oh, we didn't have any kids.
It's energy.
Yeah. Oh, so, you know, it could have been the energy of my husband, my ex-husband, because he was very chaotic. So it could have been his energy.
Yeah, it's like an energetic imprint. More so than an actual spirit.
Right. And you can control. I think you're right. People have way too much fear over it. And like when I'm in the records, they'll just be like, blah, 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 and I'm like, whoa, dude, I'm a human. Stop. Please calm down and slow down. And then they do. And I think some people might be like, oh my God, I'm a terrible reader. I can't understand what they're saying. No, tell them to slow down. You're a human.
Well,
there's only so much information you can take in.
A lot of teachers don't
teach that. Yeah.
Don't teach that.
Right. Yeah.
A lot of teachers don't teach that.
That's interesting.
Which again, that's giving your power away.
That's interesting. I might do that next time I do a reading. And just kind of say, okay, guys, I'm ready. Just, spoon feed it a little bit at a time. Thank you.
Well, I mean, that's the whole point of doing a prayer of intention.
True.
Right? Because part of the prayer of intention is that the energy and the information is delivered in a way that's comfortable and appropriate for all concerned.
Oh,
that means you
that's
as
right
the reader.
That's right in your invitation.
Yes, it is. Yes, it is.
You're good, Ange. You're good.
I know. I know. I mean, that is, just one of those things. And it's in everything I teach, all the workshops I teach. It's all in there. All you have to do is remember it because I give it out for free. It's not like you got to pay me for it every time. It's not trademarked or, I don't know, maybe it should be.
Right.
But,
every time you say such and such, you have to pay Angie.
Yeah, right. Okay, so I got this new deck before we sign off.
Oh, good idea.
It's fairy month, with Radley Valentine. So this is Karen K.
Okay.
She was on one of his. She's awesome. She's, I think, Irish. She's got a website.
I think you'd have to be with that hair.
Yeah, right. Which that's pretty much Miranda right there.
Cool.
But anyway, yeah, I know that was a little crazy because she's a white witch, which really could be a fae, right? Anyway, this one is manifesting with the fairies. So I thought, well, let's all pull a card because why not? We can.
Because why not? I'll agree. I'll go with that.
John, when do we get a new box from the quarterly?
It feels like it's coming up. It feels like it's the fourth quarter is now.
Yeah, right.
It should be November or early November.
Oh, well, let's see. That'll be fun. We'll do readings. We'll match up our decks.
Yes, we will.
Okay. Here we go. All right, over here. Over here. This one. All right. Well, look, tell me that isn't Radley Valentine.
Indeed.
Versatility, right? I mean, that's really great for this topic that we're talking about because you need to be versatile when it comes to your intuition. You have to, you can't be set in your ways. You have to allow the messages to come to you in the way that they come. And I think that really speaks to like, you know, a lot of tarot readers, a lot of readers do it in a very versatile way. And what I mean by that is they not only go by the suit and the what do you call it? The number,
Right.
the whatever, the suit, but they also go by the image.
Mm-hmm.
They go by
Maybe
the meaning of the
colors.
suit. They
Yep.
maybe the colors, like so many things. So what does she have to say about versatility? My glasses are on the floor, so I'm only going to read the big words. Pick up those metaphorical plates and start spinning them. Add mastery of multitasking to your toolkit of skills. No kidding. I'm struggling with multitasking so much lately. So there you go. Versatility. Make yourself a multitasker. I don't know. The older you get, the harder that is. I'm here to tell you. So
Maybe it's
anyway,
not doing
okay.
things at the same time. Maybe it's just enjoying more things.
Yeah, right. Well, we've been talking a little bit about that, putting end dates on your calendar so that you can figure out what you want to do on any given day, because you know when something needs to be done by, instead
Oh
of
yeah.
scheduling 15 minutes for this, 15 for that. You know, like that's just enough to push me over the edge. Anyway. Okay, what about you, John? One of you's got a card, no? I thought you had a card out.
I do. So I'm going to be doing the
Melanie, that background is doing something weird.
Angelic Activations. This is a Kyle Gray deck.
Oh, I haven't taken the plastic off that one yet. Oh, this will be good. What do we need the angels to do for us?
Look at this. And it is the guardian angel. We just talked about him.
Oh my gosh.
You are not alone. Your guardian angel is here to hold you and support you, but needs to be invited to come forth and guide you. That's your being open. Invitation doesn't have to be issued through prayer. It can come through your actions. So stop trying to do everything on your own. Let the barriers of independence fall so that you can be held and loved and cherished by heaven and earth. Here's the mantra. I welcome all levels of support from heaven and earth.
Brilliant.
Yeah, that's lovely. I'm going to keep that one out. I like that one a lot.
Yeah, I like that one a lot too. And that Rayleigh Valentine's Angel Affirmations deck is coming soon. Oh, isn't that funny? It's right there in the email. He's doing a masterclass start on Tuesday the 22nd for that Angel Affirmations deck. So anyway, how about you, Melanie?
I pulled from The Sword of Light by
because why not?
Rayleigh Valentine. I don't know. It was in a pile of cards and it was calling to me. And I got these stupid backgrounds. Hang on, let me turn off the background. Angels of healing are with you. The time of healing is about to bless your life. Accept Archangel Raphael's emerald green light while I enhance your strength.
Oh, amazing. And the green light. Green is so good for all kinds of things.
Yep. Yeah, it's green and blue, the card.
Cool. Matches my background.
Yeah.
Okay. So that's it for today, because again, I got to jump off. However, this Saturday, I am going to see Dr. Eric Pearl in person from the Reconnections. Remember we talked about that book, The Reconnections?
Yeah.
And his story, John, I know you would love that book. So I don't know if you put that on your list of
Reconnections. I remember we talked about it.
Yeah,
I'm going to go.
It's the Reconnection, I think, is what it's called.
Okay.
But Dr. Eric Pearl. So I'll have I'll have stuff to talk about next Wednesday.
That
I'm
sounds
sure
great.
It's going to be amazing and interesting, and you know, what have you. So anyway, thank you all for listening. Thank you for joining. Oh, Coventina. Burn. I love him in his book. Yeah, I was so surprised to find out that he was going to be in a local shop.
Wow.
Like, I mean, the guy has been in big, you know, not stadiums, but big theaters, and you know, so his story is really, John, I'm telling you, you will
I
really
got it.
love
I
the
got it
book.
right on my browser.
Yeah,
So
you will really, really love it. I know you will.
sweet.
You will really love it.
Thank you. Thanks for the
Because the way
introduction.
that he started out as a chiropractor
Okay.
and spontaneously understood that he could heal people. So yeah, I can't wait. I can't wait to.
All right.
This is
I'll
the
get the
first
book.
time I've been excited about something in the energy world for a long time.
Okay. Very excited to hear about that.
Yeah, so that'll be fun for next week. Anyway, so that's that. Thank you all for joining us. Please don't forget to subscribe if you listened this far, and we just thank you so much. Keep an eye out.
You know who you are.
Yeah, right. Keep an eye out now for some upcoming changes. We're going to do a little bit of restructuring here, and we've got some roundtables situations planned where one we want to take apart fear and sort of just dissect it and figure it out a little bit. So we've got some really cool things planned. I've got an author and hopefully another episode where we'll have an editor.
Okay.
A spiritual book editor, which would be really cool. She's already said yes, so we'll see if we can get that to work out. Anyway, we will see you all next week. Thank you so much. Hasta la vista. Okay.